and the great-grandmas that struggled in this nation to make this nation what it is, and the willpower that they had. They weren't a bunch of franzi-pansies. Nothing against the franzi-pansy tree. I'm a tree surgeon. It's a very beautiful tree. But I just wanted to use that as an example. Maybe the name pansy should be better, or would be better. So anyway, do you have the will to fight? Can you muster up that type of energy? Can you set aside a couple hours of the day to say, okay, this is at this time of day, I'm going to set aside to doing research, and we all do the research. We watch the videos, we get sent tweets, and we get sent videos and such. But what do you do with them? And what I mean by what do you do with them is that, okay, when I had my my blog site up, and Nancy says she can still get to it. I can't figure out how to get to it anymore. But it was called True Serum. And part of my heading in that blog was, I will never give you a problem without giving you an antidote to solve the problem. So otherwise you're just a bunch of loud clanging cymbals and horns making a bunch of noise, and you're not doing nothing. You know, it's like the armchair quarterback from inside his room, sitting in that easy chair with a beer and or a sweet tea and maybe a big triple-decker sandwich, you know, thinking that he's going to solve the problems from the world, from, you know, or put in the winning play in a football game, or call the winning pitch in a baseball game. Now, so I want you to stop and think. I keep asking people this question, and everybody seems to get distracted when I ask them. You know, it's like their mind wanders off somewhere else. And these people I'm talking about are conservative patriots, and they don't know what to say. But here's the question I'm going to ask you. We all know Donald Trump's going to win this election. I mean, without a doubt. Without a doubt, he's got the votes to win the election. The only way that possible that it could make it look like he didn't win the election is, and I say it that way because it's impossible for him to lose it. I mean, you just look at the videos of the folks that are coming out and supporting him, and you see all different demographics starting to change their mind and vote for him now. So we know that fraud would have to be a big part to make it look like he didn't win. And that fraud starts in the media, absolutely fuming. I mean, it just makes me sick to my stomach that these communists, and they are communists, are allowed to operate openly like this and actually support and take sides in America of communist candidates. So, let me get a drink of my coffee here. Man, that's good. So, True Serum. Let me give you a fact. Most people watch stuff, listen to stuff, get aggravated about it, yell and scream. They might talk to one person, or maybe it's the person they call once a week or twice a week, and they discuss it, and they, oh, ain't this disgraceful? Ain't this? Can you believe they're doing this? But what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you doing anything? Huh? Getting out and talking to the same person, preaching to the same choir every week, that ain't going to help. Come on, become independent thinkers here. All right? The day after the election, I done got my sign made up. All I got to do is put it on a board backing. It's a big sign. It's a huge sign. It's a sign it's a monstrous sign. It's a long sign, and it's a tall sign. It's a sign that can't be missed driving down the interstate at 75 or 80 miles an hour. Now, it took time out of my day yesterday and the day before and the day before that to paint everything and to get it all made up. And that's what I'm talking about. Are you taking that time to do something? Do you have a plan for you and your family to go out the day after the election and go to the street corner with a sign that says Trump wins? Trump wins. Get your sign, make your sign, here's your sign, and go out to that corner that says, with a sign that says Trump wins. They won't let you sit. I'm telling you, if you try to say it on Facebook, they're not going to let you. So make up your sign, get out in your community, and do it. That's one way to fight. Now listen, people out there have physical ailments, all kinds of stuff. I mean, all kinds of medical problems and stuff. Don't let that be an excuse. You make yourself get out there and do that. Now, I have a habit of getting worn down a little bit earlier than what I used to because I'm a little bit older. But you know what I do? Well, in the morning I get up and I have 2 good cups of coffee. And that gets me motivated. In the afternoon, particularly during the summer, about 3 o'clock, I make me another pot. Now, I know this ain't good for you. But you think running up them mountains on Iwo Jima was good for you? Huh? Do you think landing on them beaches at Normandy was good for you? Do you think lining up on the bridge to fight the British when they were coming across was good for you? Listen, it may be a little bit unhealthy to drink that much coffee, and I may not be able to go to sleep good at night because of the caffeine, but about 3:30 in the afternoon, I make that pot of coffee, and then I get me a bunch of ice cubes. This is during the summer. And I pour that coffee in there, and I drink what is equivalent to probably another 2 of these big old mugs of coffee. Maybe 3, maybe 4, whatever it takes. But I find that I'm able to work until dark and get stuff done. Maybe in the afternoon, if I'm a little bit tired, I'll take a little nap. Or as my fellows on the other side of the border might say, siesta. I think they might have that right. The hottest part of the day, you go in and relax. Find something else to do in the air conditioner. Maybe write your plans up on how you're going to fight. But listen, you need to have a plan of how we're going to fight this communism. It ain't too late. We're only a few days away from the election, but it still ain't too late. Go get your poster board and make up that sign, and the fewer the words, the better, because it's easier to read. And if you've got to get a poster board and make each poster board one letter that says Trump wins, is virtually what I did. If you got to do that and then put it on a backing of another big piece of cardboard or plywood or whatever it takes, and put that up and go out there the day after the election that says Trump wins, and listen, I suggest, and here's another thing. Don't let fear dominate your life. If you're scared to go out there because you're worried about somebody, then trick a friend to go out there with you. Get him in your car, tell him we're going to breakfast or lunch, and then pull over the side of the road, have him in the car, standing guard, with a big old giant can of wasp spray, or 2 or 3, to spray the wasp when they come buzzing around because you've aggravated them. You know what I'm talking about. Don't be afraid. Get angry and start fighting back. Did you see that? That fly had enough nerve to land on my coffee cup and stay there on that side. Now I'm going to drink off this side and finish off what I got. But I want to finish it off because if they land on it on this side, I'm running out of drinking areas. So don't let fear stop you. Don't let apprehension stop you. Get out there and do something. Now, I drive around with a big old sign on the side of my truck that I wrote on there. I got big black toolboxes, and I wrote on there in big white chalk letters that say BLM equals communism. Right above that I got truth serum. And right below it says in big letters, BLM equals communism. And I've suffered a flat tire because of it. But that ain't going to stop me. Are you going to let people intimidate you? Now, yeah, I want you to think about that, you know. How intimidated was them folks running up them mountains in Iwo Jima, landing on them beaches in Normandy, and standing guard at that bridge during the Revolution? Think about that. How intimidated were them pioneers crossing in them wagon trains, heading west to develop the countryside? Oh, but I'm scared they're going to scratch my truck. I'm scared they're going to break my window. No excuse. You ain't got an excuse. You ain't got an excuse. Get out there. Now listen, if you don't want to put it on your wife's vehicle, I understand that. But if you're a grown man, you get out there and do what's necessary. We need to make sure that people know who we stand for and what we stand for. When you do that, you may encourage people and you don't even know it, that you're encouraging them. Let me give you an example of that. As a fairly young Christian, I was going to Cornerstone Church in Davie, Florida. And I was fairly new there. And I didn't know a lot about a charismatic church, you know. I just knew that, if you was in love with God, you was in love with God. If He was number one in your life, He was number one in your life, and you boldly stood for Him no matter what. You weren't afraid to speak up in a conversation. But there was one thing that always I was apprehensive about. And that was, while I was in church, raising my hands to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I'd sit there with my hands on if we were standing up, we were singing, with my hands on the pew in front of me, white knuckling that pew, squeezing that pew. I wanted to raise my hand, but then one day I saw this guy out in front of me. And remember now, we're talking about encouraging people. And how this guy never knew this. I never told him, I never tapped him on the shoulder and said, by the way. But this was a big man, probably going about 6'4". I don't know who he was, but big shoulders, big fella. Looked like a lumberjack. That's just a description I decided to give. But anyway, all of a sudden he stands up and I see him lifting his hands to Jesus. And my apprehension left me. There was no fear no more. Now why I was that way, I don't know. I think it was Satan trying to keep me from giving the ultimate praise, which is my body, lifting my hands up to our almighty and loving Savior. Anyway, that encouraged me, and I've never been apprehensive about doing it since then. So that's how that affected me. So driving around with a Trump flag, or a Trump sticker, or an anti-BLM sticker, or an anti-communism banner, or whatever it might be, after realizing the sacrifices that our family members have made, and our friends, and the generations beyond that, for us not to do this, I would be ashamed of myself now. I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say. And like I said, I give way to the folks that may have a wife that drives that vehicle or something like that. I understand that. Then you go out and you have some magnetic ones made, and when you drive it, you put it on. When she's driving it, you take it off. Get out there. The day after the election, I want to see it on the news. I want to see 10 or 20 counties across the state of Florida and Georgia and Mississippi and Louisiana with people out there on their corners with signs that says, Trump wins. Are they going to muzzle you? Are you going to allow them to neuter you? Are we going to take you to the vet and get you neutered? Huh? That's what they've done. They've neutered half the churches. You got one church that says, well, if he stands for this and this and this and this and this and this, if it's biblical, then we should vote for him. The other candidate stands for this, this, and this, and it's not biblical, so we shouldn't vote for him. But they can't muster up the doggone courage to say the doggone name. What is wrong with them? What is wrong with them? If he fails, then you get on the... If he's not the candidate he said he was going to be, then you come out and say, hey, I made a mistake. If I influenced you, tough luck. You still made your own choice, but at least I told you what my mind said. Speak your mind. When the communists can control your mind by not allowing you to speak, and a lot of them do that, particularly in the churches, the pastors, because of tax money, because of the tax break, the tax exempt status. Now listen, I'm tax exempt. My wife is, with the Family Tree Ministries. But we don't let that keep us from saying the truth. We speak out against homosexuality. We say it's wrong. We say the person has a chance to be saved. And we love him to death. We just hate to see him go to hell. And that's what will happen if he continues to live in a sin and doesn't get saved. Now, if he gets saved and continues to live in a sin, and he's struggling with it, we pray for deliverance. We give him a battle plan how to work his way out of that. There's a way out of that. There's a way to work out of that. Same thing with drugs. There's a way to work out of that. All kinds of, sexual addictions, pornography, or whatever it is. There's a way to work your way out of it. And listen, there may come a time where you've done great for 2 years, and all of a sudden you slip one day. And you can tell the difference between somebody that actually messed up and repented really versus somebody that doesn't. Is that they'll continue in it over and over and over and day after day after day after day. So are you willing to fight? Do you have the kind of strength it takes to fight? Now listen, there may come a time if the wrong people get in office and this turns into more of a communist country, or they ever threaten to take away our rights. They're already doing it with our free speech. I'm telling you, they're already doing it. They're already doing it. Y'all better get mad. You better get riled up. You better have a plan. Don't do it foolishly. I'm not going to run out there in front of somebody and be cannon fodder. For those of you that don't know what cannon fodder is, I think it's the backing behind the shot that they're firing, and it gets blown to pieces when it gets fired out there. You do things smartly. When the time comes to defend you and your family, you do it. No questions asked, but make sure you're organized. Start developing your community meetings now. Your communications. Get your radios together. Ham radios, CB radios, family-friendly radios, the little handheld walkie-talkies. Tune them in. Practice. Go down to your local range and do some shooting so you can learn how to defend yourself. Be proficient in it. Learn how to change magazines on an AR-15. And do it quickly. The less times you're fiddling around with it and looking down, the less time you got for somebody to come around and flank you and put one in the side of your head. People think, well, I can hunt. I can fish. Them deer and even them big old bear ain't firing back at you from 100 yards. You better start thinking. You better start thinking. You better get... And listen, if you're proficient in that and you know how to do it, let's say you're LEO. Why haven't you approached everybody in your family and offered to train them? Why? You ain't got a good reason. If you haven't done it, you ain't got a good reason. But God's a loving God. He's a forgiving God. He's a just God. He by no means will let the guilty go unpunished. But because He's loving and forgiving, He wants to see you defend you and your family. And even your extended family should know how to do that. So you can today call up some of your family members, your cousins, and your aunts, and your uncles, and your second cousins, and all them, and say, listen, we're forming a group, even if it's around the country. We're going to have regular monthly meetings via Zoom or whatever it is, telephone, I don't care. Have it on the intercom system, and you're going to talk to them. Maybe you'll set up a meeting where all of you get together, and where it normally would have been just a reunion, now it's going to be a training meeting. Maybe the paramedics will start teaching the rest of the family how to do emergency medical treatment. You know what happened to now think about what's going to happen if I take a round side the head here and it just glances off and it nicks my ear and I got blood pouring out, and then all of a sudden somebody in the family comes running up and they have no training experience and they put a tourniquet around my neck. Okay, think about is that okay? Let's stop the bleeding. It sure did. Anyway, a little moment of humor there. I don't know if y'all appreciated that or not. My dog Waco, he's listening. He appreciated it. All right, now we're going to go for a quick walk. Oh boy. Here we go. I'm going to take you someplace. Oh, I don't know if you can see this view up here, but here, I got to turn this around so you can see this. Look at that, huh? I'm up here, I'm up in the air. I'm way up in the air off the ground. Look at all that. Look at that, huh? I try not to be too wobbly here. Look at there. Look at there. We got a garden growing. We got raised beds. We got lemongrass growing. We got fig trees all over the place. I'm going to turn it back around here real slow. Sorry about all the jiggling, folks. I'm not experienced at using these cameras and stuff. I'm using this is actually a phone right here. So what I'm gonna walk you around here real quick, and it's gonna be fast because I don't know how much battery power I got. Oh, look at that, huh? That's what I was just up on top of. That's a shipping container with a screened-in patio up there. Man, that's so relaxing to sit up there in the morning. I like to sit up there and do my videos. I go up there at night. I don't turn on a bright light. I light a couple candles up there and just sit there and relax. Maybe I'll listen to some old-timey bluegrass music or some old hymns. Every once in a while I get into some old southern rock. Can't help it. It's in my bones. Marshall Tucker Brand, Can't You See? Leonard Skinner, Sweet Home Alabama. Woo! Oh, okay, look, let me show you this right here. Now, you're probably not going to be able to read that. That's on the side of my truck. It's backwards. It's probably backwards. BLM equals communism. Truth serum. Then I got my Trump flag up there. Gun owners for Trump. And let me tell you something. Every time I go to the interstate, to the gas station up there, I understand that there's some risk involved there. I carry an extra gun with me now. Now I'm going to show you something else here. Look at this. Look at this. See that sign? Ain't she a beauty? Huh? Look at that. Trump wins. That's going to be out there on the interstate, on an overpass, an old country road that I found that has an overpass over the interstate on I-10. I think I'm in Suwannee County by that time. So y'all come on out and see that thing. I'm going to be out there the day after the election, early in the morning, and try to stay out there all day. I might have to bring 2 or 3 pots of coffee out there. By the way, this is our outdoor kitchen. That's what we got here. We got an outdoor kitchen. This is where Mama's going to be doing all her canning and such. So, there's we're going to go on out here now. But listen, I appreciate y'all tuning into the Prepper Consultant. and listening to this important information that I've been sharing. You know, make a list of the things that you think need to be done and go do them. And then check off that list every day. All right? Now listen. On my list this week, look at that. Look at that antenna. Can you see that antenna? Huh? That's a dipole antenna. I used a ladder to get up part way up, and then I climbed up the rest of the way, and Noah actually put that one up. I took the old one down the other day because it broke. But we're serious about our communications. You know, we want people. I can't help it. I gotta look up there on top of that container, man. Ain't that so nice? I love that, man. That is so neat. So anyway, I'm gonna sign off now. God bless you, folks. May the Lord watch you and keep you. May He inspire you to do what's necessary to raise your children and your family up in the admonition of the Lord. May He continue to fight on our side, and He will, long as our side is on His side. Look at them pineapples. I got them things everywhere. We must have 30 or 40 pineapple plants. Look at them things, huh? Oh, there it is again. Look in the background. Look at that. Ain't that something? Look at that, right? Right there. All right. I'll see y'all later. God bless you. Thank you for watching The Prepper Consultant. Remember, keep your powder dry and your eyes to the sky.